Hello, beta. Good morning, everyone. So today we are going to go ahead and pick up on all the important questions from past year, and we will try to go ahead and cover as many questions as possible from the past year papers based on Intermediate Microeconomics II, right? That means SEM 4. Okay, beta. Let us start. So I am starting with the first question. ये क्वेश्चन आया है ईयर 2006 में. Let us try to go ahead and read the question. Please be with me throughout this marathon. This will help you revise a lot of your microeconomics. Okay, let's start, beta. So under what condition is a unique level of public good supplied at different allocations of private good? Right? It says elaborate. The question is going ahead and asking ki under what condition you will go ahead and supply a unique level of the public good, beta. When will your public good be unique under different levels or different allocations of the private good, right? तो अब थोड़ा सा हमें इस बात को समझना होगा that when we talk about public good, beta, public good is always unique. There is one number, right? The amount of public good that will be supplied in the economy, it will be unique. So what individual A will be consuming public good, it will be equal to what B will be consuming, and it will be equal to what is available in the market. The amount of public good is always the same. ठीक है, so we just have to go ahead and elaborate on this only. हमें सिर्फ इसी चीज को explain करना है that for each individual, we can start by talking about say quasi linear preferences. तो हमने एक utility function ले लिया xi comma g. This is equal to xi plus vi dash vi g. हमने बोल दिया कि let this be the utility function of individual I. And beta, what is our condition for supplying the public good? क्या हमारा Pareto efficiency condition क्या रहता है when we have to supply the goods in the economy? So we know that the Pareto efficiency condition for supplying the amount of public good is MRS summed up should be equal to marginal cost of the public good. So MRS of individual A plus MRS of individual B plus MRS of individual C and so on and so forth. When you will go ahead and add the MRS of all individuals, it should be equal to marginal cost. ये हमारा condition है for Pareto efficiency of the public good. This is our Pareto efficiency condition of the public good, and इसी से हमारा equilibrium condition भी आ जाता है. So if you go to your chapter, right, chapter number 17 that we have done, beta, 17 में not 17, if you go to chapter number 18, sorry, if you go towards chapter number 18, in chapter number 18 we have already studied this condition, how to get efficiency with public goods. हमने ये वाला already पढ़ा हुआ है. So you can go ahead and you can write your answer from there itself, right? So if you just go ahead to page number 332 of your book, अगर आप इस पेज पे आओगे, page 332 of your book, it says Samuelson optimality condition. You just have to go ahead and write that. आपको सिर्फ वो Samuelson optimality condition को explain करना है, and that will be enough. ठीक है, that should be the answer to this question. Am I making sense? तो आपको mainly you just have to go ahead and write this. that public good is always provided, the same amount of public good is always provided to all individual, as public good is non-excludable and non-rivalrous. Then you have to go ahead and you have to explain this pura situation that let there be an individual, उस individual के एक utility function को आप ले लेना, and after writing that you just have to explain this Pareto efficiency condition कि यहाँ से हमारे पास we will get one amount of public good which will be existing in the market. ठीक है, ओके बेटा. नाउ लेट मी गो टू द सेकंड क्वेश्चन, क्वेश्चन नंबर 2. बेटा दिस अगेन इज फ्रॉम 2006 पेपर, and let us try to read this question. It says the sum of price weighted excess demand summed over all markets must be equal to 0. Explain. Okay. Very good question, beta. Let us try to see a question क्या बोल रहा है. What is the meaning of this question? It's an excellent question. तो कह रहा है कि the sum of prices weighed against your weight excess demand summed over all markets must be equal to 0. Explain. Okay. So now what you can go ahead in this case and what you can do is the following, beta. यहाँ पर we will write the equation of the Walras law. Right? What is the equation of the Walras law? The equation of Walras law says P1 into Z1, P1 comma P2 plus P2 into Z2, P1 comma P2 is equal to 0. Is equal to 0. Try to understand, beta, that here Z1 represents the excess demand in market 1. And Z2 represents the excess demand in market 2. Right? This is representing the excess demand in market 1 and excess demand in market 2. अब इसमें ना we need to consider cases. देखो बेटा, when will be the sum of two things? अगर मैं कोई दो चीजों को add कर रही हूं, when will the sum of two things be 0? The first case can be when both of them are 0. अगर दोनों ही 0 हैं, if both of them are 0, then the sum will be 0. So we can go ahead and say that the sum of two things will be 0 if both P1 into Z1 is 0 and P2 into Z2 is also 0. So 0 plus 0 is equal to 0. And beta, when will this be the case? ऐसा कब होगा कि P1 into Z1 भी 0 हो जाएगा और P2 into Z2 भी 0 हो जाएगा? We know that since prices are assumed to be positive, prices तो 0 नहीं हो सकते हैं. So since prices are assumed to be positive, the sum of these would be 0 if they are individually 0. Z1 is 0 and Z2 is also 0. If Z1 is 0 and Z2 is also 0. But Z1 0 means there is no excess demand in market 1. That means market 1 is clearing. And Z2 0 means there is no excess demand in market 2. So market 2 is also clearing. Market 2 bhi clear kar rahi hai. So when we go ahead and say that P1 Z1 plus P2 Z2 is 0, तो case 1 जो इसमें हमने लिया है, the case 1 that we have taken, beta, we have taken the case that P1 Z1 is also 0 and P2 Z2 is also 0. And since we are assuming prices to be non-negative and not also 0. We are assuming them to be strictly positive. This means कि Z1 को भी 0 होना पड़ेगा and Z2 को भी 0 होना पड़ेगा अगर इनके प्रोडक्ट को 0 होना है. And this means automatically beta that we will have no excess demand in market 1. मतलब market 1 भी clear कर जाएगी और market 2 भी clear कर जाएगी. अच्छा, now come to case 2 beta. Case 2 says that the sum of two things can be 0 if one of them is positive. अगर एक positive हो और दूसरा negative हो तो भी तो sum will be 0, isn't it? So if I just go ahead and I take the case that P1 Z1 plus P2 Z2 is 0, right? तो I can have that Z1 is positive, but P1 P2 को तो हम positive ही मान रहे हैं. These are prices. तो अगर ये पॉजिटिव है, दैट मीन्स दिस इंटायर थिंग इज पॉजिटिव. सो फॉर दिस टू बी 0, अगर इसको 0 होना है, दिस मस्ट बी नेगेटिव. तभी तो पॉजिटिव प्लस नेगेटिव वुड बी 0. सो दिस मीन्स दैट Z2 शुड बी नेगेटिव. सो दिस मीन्स दैट व्हेन Z1 पॉजिटिव का क्या मतलब है? दैट एक्सेस डिमांड इज पॉजिटिव. That means demand is more than supply in market 1. And Z2 negative means what beta? That demand is less than supply. Excess demand is negative. So this means that when there is excess demand in market 1, जब demand supply से ज़्यादा है in market 1, then there will be excess supply in market 2. Supply will be more than demand in market 2. Are you getting this? Is this making some sense to you? So we can go ahead and we can say that in this case, beta, P1 Z1 plus P2 Z2 equal to 0. इसके ये दो implications होंगे. These two would be the implications of P1 Z1 plus P2 Z2 equal to 0. Is this clear? Huh? So this is what is the meaning of this question. I hope this question is clear to you, right? Okay beta, now let me go ahead to the next question. बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन था ये. सच काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस कैन बी आस्क्ड इन एग्जाम फ्रॉम द थ्योरेटिकल एस्पेक्ट. अगर थ्योरी से कोई क्वेश्चन आएगा तो इस तरीके का क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में आ सकता है. दिस कैन बी आस्क्ड इन एग्जाम. Okay beta, now let me just go on to the next question. So it says in a 2-person general, this is again 2006 paper beta, right? 2006 paper question. So in a 2-person general equilibrium model, marginal rate of substitution of one of the agents is not equal to marginal rate of substitution of other agent. Explain how they can be made better off. Okay, beta, now I will try to go ahead and I will try to explain you two cases. दो तरीके से ये क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में आ सकता है. There can be two ways in which this question can be asked in your exam. The first way in which this question can be asked in your exam, it can be like this only. ऐसा उन्होंने बोल दिया that if there is a 2-person general equilibrium game and MRS of substitution of one of them is not equal to MRS, and how you can make them better off. ये तो एक हो गया. In the second case, what they will do now, instead of MRS, they will use the word MRT. So I will explain you that case also. What happens if they will use the word MRT? Then how you will go ahead and solve this? We need to understand that case also. ठीक है बेटा, let's start with the question given here. So case 1. So it says when MRS of two individuals are not equal. बेटा दिस आई हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड इन माय वीडियो लेक्चर्स आल्सो, उसमें भी आपको ये वाला केस मिलेगा व्हेन एमआरएस ऑफ टू इंडिविजुअल इज नॉट इक्वल. सो लेट अस टेक केस नंबर. अच्छा, इसमें क्या करेंगे ना हम, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी विल गो अहेड and we will draw an Edgeworth box OA, OB. And since MRS of two individual is not equal to each other, this is how you will draw the indifference curve of individual A. And this is how you will draw the indifference curve of individual B. And you will start by explaining one point. एक point से शुरू करोगे. So let's start with point number E. So at point E, the indifference curve of individual A and the indifference curve of individual B, beta, they are intersecting each other. They are intersecting each other. So when they are intersecting each other, they are not equal. है ना? They are equal only at the point of tangency. जब tangent होते हैं तो equal होते हैं. Otherwise, they are not equal to each other. ये बात हम समझते हैं. We understand this point. Now try to understand. If you remember of my classes, you would know कि हमने इस area को, we had defined this area as the core. क्या लिखा था इसको बेटा हमने? We had written this as the core. Isn't it? We had defined this as the core. And if you remember, इसमें हमने क्या बात बोली थी बच्चे? We had said that when an individual moves from any point to a point inside the core, जब कोई भी एक इंडिविजुअल किसी भी पॉइंट से कोर के अंदर जाता है, द इंडिविजुअल गोज टुवर्ड्स द कोर, इनसाइड द कोर, you realize that the utility of the individual increases. Utility of the individual increases, right? So this means beta that when I will move this individual from point E to point G, suppose अगर मैं इंडिविजुअल को पॉइंट ई से पॉइंट जी की तरफ लेके आती हूं, आई विल रियलाइज दैट एट पॉइंट जी इंडिविजुअल ए विल बी ऑन अ हायर इंडिफरेंस कर्व. इंडिविजुअल ए विल बी ऑन अ हायर इंडिफरेंस कर्व. उसको हम एक ऊपर के इंडिफरेंस कर्व पे लेके जा पा रहे हैं, राइट? सो इंडिविजुअल ए विल बी ऑन अ हायर इंडिफरेंस कर्व. Similarly, we realize, देखो B का origin ये है, so the more away he is from his origin, the better. So we realize individual B will be also on a higher indifference curve. He has shifted more away from the origin. वो अपने origin से और दूर हो गया है. It means his utility is increasing further. So we realize that both individual A and individual B will be on higher indifference curve and therefore they will be having more utility. दोनों की ही जो utility होगी वो ज्यादा होगी. There will be more utility for both individuals, right? So when you move from point E to point G, utility of both the individual is increasing. So both of them are becoming better off. तो यही तो क्वेश्चन बोल रहा है that when MRS is not equal to MRS of another, मतलब when we start from point like B, how we can make them better off? हम उनको better off कैसे कर सकते हैं? By moving them towards the core. ठीक है. अच्छा, now suppose this question was a bit different. और ये क्वेश्चन आपको बोलता that in a 2-person economy, MRS of one agent is not equal to MRT between two goods. Explain how individuals can be made better off. Again, this is a 2006 question, beta. Read the question. It says, in a 2-person economy, MRS of one of the agents is not equal to MRT. So MRT is the slope, marginal rate of transformation, is the slope of PPC, right? प्रोडक्शन पॉसिबिलिटी कर्व, राइट? तो अब हम क्या करेंगे ना, दिस इज लिटिल आउट ऑफ योर सिलेबस क्वेश्चन, बट व्हाट यू कैन डू, आप यहाँ पे एक पीपीसी बना लो. वी विल टेक टू गुड्स, गुड एक्स एंड गुड वाई, एंड यहाँ पे हम एक इंडिफरेंस कर्व बना लेंगे. वी विल मेक एन इंडिफरेंस कर्व. बाकी चीज इज द सेम, एवरीथिंग वी हैव डन. सो वी विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम पॉइंट ए बेटा. At point A, MRS and MRT are not equal to each other. ये मेरा production possibility curve है. Production possibility curve का slope is marginal rate of transformation. इसका slope will be MRS. They are intersecting each other. Remember, intersection does not mean slope will be equal. Slopes are equal only at the point of tangency. जब टेंजेंसी अचीव होती है, ओनली एट दैट पॉइंट स्लोप्स आर इक्वल टू ईच अदर. तो व्हाट वी विल सी बेटा, अगेन वी सी दैट देयर इज क्रिएशन ऑफ द कोर. इसको हम कोर बोल सकते हैं. देयर इज क्रिएशन ऑफ द कोर. कोर मींस आई कैन मेक इंडिविजुअल ए बेटर ऑफ, राइट? कैसे? हाउ कैन वी मेक इंडिविजुअल ए बेटर ऑफ? वी कैन टेक हिम टू हायर हायर एंड हायर इन डिफरेंस कर्व. हम उसको यहां इस पॉइंट तक लेके जा सकते हैं. एंड व्हेन वी विल टेक इंडिविजुअल ए टू दिस इंडिफरेंस कर्व, हिज यूटिलिटी हैज इंक्रीज्ड. और मैं अभी भी, आई एम जस्ट प्रोड्यूसिंग द टू गुड्स फुल्ली, आई एम ऑन द सेम पीपीसी. तो आई हैव बीन एबल टू इंक्रीज द यूटिलिटी ऑफ इंडिविजुअल ए while being on same production possibility curve. While being on same production possibility curve. So we can say that this has increased the welfare. और when is the welfare increased? बेटा कब हो पा रहा है ये? This is happening at the point of tangency. Point of tangency पे हो रहा है. And what is the point of tangency doing to us? क्या हो रहा है point of tangency पे? That MRS is becoming equal to MRT. तो when we moved from a point, ये point था where MRS and MRT were not equal to each other. ये दोनों equal नहीं थे. So when we moved from point MRS not equal to MRT to a point MRS equal to MRT, हमने ये देखा that the welfare is increasing. Utility is increasing. Is this clear? Okay, beta, come to the next question now. So again, this is a question asked in 2006 past year paper. Please read the question. It says, with well-defined property rights, Pareto efficient allocation may be achieved even in the good that involves consumption externality. Illustrate. Okay. Good question, beta. With well-defined property rights, Pareto efficient allocation may be achieved even in the good that involves consumption externality. So you would remember, beta, we have done this kind of question even in the past. You would remember कि the externalities, अब थोड़ा सा समझ लेते हैं. When we talk about externalities, right? So externality can be divided in two parts. दो तरीके की externality हो सकती है. One can be consumption externality, right? And the other can be production externality. Try to understand better. Consumption externality is involved wherever you are talking about consumption, right? जैसे consuming education, consuming cigarettes, one is positive, one is negative. Production is involved in the process of production. Now, consumption externality can be of two types. One can be positive consumption externality and one can be negative consumption externality. Similarly, production externality can also be of two types. One can be positive production externality and other can be negative production externality. Right? Now try to understand that when we talk about externalities, there are many ways to solve the problem of externality. ये externality का problem बहुत सारे तरीके से solve हो सकता है. One of them can be defining property rights. Right? So in property rights, we go ahead and we define कि किसका वो product है. So I have already given you an example. When we were studying the example of river and fishery, तो हमने explain किया था कि we can give property rights to either the fishery firm or the firm who is creating pollution, और दोनों ही case में property rights का problem will be solved. Similarly is the case of consumption externality also. So for example, in consumption externality, what we can go ahead and we can do is, we can take the example of common grounds. Right? So there is a common ground on which villagers are going ahead and they're getting their sheeps. वो अपनी sheeps को लेकर आ रहे हैं, and these sheeps are overgrazing. क्योंकि the land does not belong to any particular individual, so सब अपनी sheeps यहाँ पे लेके आते हैं and they overutilize the land and it leads to overgrazing, thereby creating a negative consumption externality, है ना? Because I am asking my sheeps to overgraze, it is causing negative consumption externality. Now the way to resolve the problem of this is to go ahead and define the property rights. Right? आप property rights को define कर दो. So you go ahead and you say that, look, I am saying that this land, it belongs to the village panchayat. Now what will happen, beta? That this village panchayat, it will put some fees on the land whenever you have to do the grazing on the land, get your sheep grazed on the land, और इसी तरीके से you will ensure कि overgrazing ना हो. So defining property right ensures that you are able to account for the externality and it results in the optimal solution in the economy. It results in the optimal solution in the economy. ठीक है? तो in a way it ensures that आप external cost को भी consider करो या external benefit को भी consider करो. You consider external cost or external benefit. Okay, beta. Now let's go ahead to the next question. So I hope you will be able to write the answer to this one. This is again question from paper year 2006. Let us read down the question. Question कहता है, why does free access to common resource lead to overuse of resource? Explain. I have already just now explained you the same question. अभी ये बस एक reworded है दूसरे तरीके से, but I have gone ahead and explained you this question. बेटा इसको हम बोलते हैं, this is called as tragedy of commons. Tragedy of commons basically क्या बोलता है? Tragedy of commons basically goes ahead and it says that whenever you have a common resource, right? Because people do not consider the external cost, है ना? तो जब इस लैंड पर जिस पे ग्रास है, I am getting my sheeps to herd here, I am not considering कि मेरी वजह से बाकी विलेजर्स पे नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट क्या पड़ेगा या उनके लिए कितनी कम ग्रास बचेगी उस लैंड पे. So I am not considering the negative impact it is going to go ahead and cause to other people, right? And because I am not considering that, तो मैं अपने जो मेरे जो हर्ड है उनसे ओवरग्रेस करवाऊंगी because it is free of cost available to me, right? And I am not considering that external cost. Is that making sense? So here I can go ahead and I can say that this is the tragedy of commons, that people don't go ahead and they do not consider the external cost, because of which it leads to overgrazing of the land. It leads to overgrazing of the land. Am I clear with this question, beta? So just explain this in detail. Okay. Now we will go ahead and move on to the next question. Okay, beta. So this question came in the year 2007. And the question is the following. It says, when is Pareto efficient solution or efficient allocation not supported by equilibrium price? When is Pareto efficient allocation not supported by equilibrium price? इसको थोड़ा सा let's try to understand. इसको समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. So if you remember, beta, we have something which is known as second welfare theorem. है ना? Second welfare theorem क्या बोलती है? What does second welfare theorem say? Second welfare theorem goes ahead and says that if I start with some Pareto efficient allocation, अगर मैं किसी एक Pareto efficient allocation से start करूं, then if some conditions are met, right? I will tell you about those conditions abhi. But if certain conditions are met, then you will achieve an equilibrium, competitive equilibrium price. है ना? तो किसी भी पेरेटो एफिशिएंट सॉल्यूशन को हम competitive equilibrium बना सकते हैं if certain conditions are met, right? If certain conditions are met, right? Now, when does second welfare theorem fail? This is the question which we are asking. यही है ये question. This is asking the same question कि हाँ, usually तो ऐसा होता है. Usually it happens that Pareto efficient solution can be made into a competitive price. एक example देखो, समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. So this is my Edgeworth box, OA, OB. And I have some Pareto efficient allocation. ये मेरा Pareto efficient allocation. This is indifference curve of individual A, indifference curve of B. This is my Pareto efficient allocation, point A. Then I can go ahead and I can pass a budget line through this. और इसी के थ्रू आई एम इंश्योरिंग दैट दिस प्राइस रेशियो, जो भी इस बजट लाइन का स्लोप होगा, इंश्योर्स दैट ईच इंडिफरेंस कर्व इज टेंजेंट टू द बजट लाइन. वी हैव डन दिस इन क्लास. And if each indifference curve will be tangent to the budget line, तो we will ensure कि ये एक competitive equilibrium भी है. It is competitive equilibrium. You remember? We have done second welfare theorem in class. This is what we did. So the question is कि when does the second welfare theorem fail? कब हम ये लाइन पास नहीं कर पाएंगे? कब हम एक competitive equilibrium price ratio को नहीं निकाल पाएंगे? When we would not be able to find a competitive equilibrium price ratio. So number one, whenever you have non-convex preferences. Whenever you have non-convex preferences. So for example, if the indifference curve looks something like this, agar indifference curve individual A ka, it looks something like this, then second welfare theorem will fail. It will fail. I will not be able to support Pareto efficient allocation with a competitive price. मैं Pareto efficient allocation को एक competitive price के साथ support नहीं कर पाऊंगी under non-convex preferences. Similarly, I will not be able to do this if there is any kind of non-competitive market. Money, if instead of perfect competition, I have monopoly, monopolistic competition, or any other kind of market, right? Oligopoly, then also I will not be able to do this, right? And third, under any kind of market failure. Like, for example, public good, externality, right? Asymmetric information. So under these three situations, although मेरा एक point Pareto efficient हो सकता है, a point can be Pareto efficient, but I will not be able to go ahead and I will not be able to support it with an equilibrium price. But under usual situations, I will be able to go ahead and support it with equilibrium price. समझ रहे हो? So under usual situation माने अगर एक general case है कि ICs tangent हैं एक दूसरे को, the indifference curves are tangent to each other, then I can pass a budget line through that, and then I can say कि yes, now this is also a competitive equilibrium. क्योंकि competitive equilibrium के लिए क्या चाहिए? For competitive equilibrium, I just require tangency of budget line to IC. And Pareto efficiency के लिए tangency of IC to IC. So I have already established the tangency of indifference curve to indifference curve. Now, all that I require is that I should be able to pass a budget line through it. And I will be able to pass a budget line through it only if it is perfectly competitive market. But if the preferences are non-convex, your market is non-competitive, or there is any kind of market failure, so this second welfare theorem will not hold true. Am I clear with this question, beta? Okay. Let me go to the next question now. So 2007 only, we are taking the next question, beta. So the next question says the following. It says that there is a model which is a two-part tariff model, right? You're given Q1 is equal to 14 minus 2P1. Q2 is equal to 10 minus 2P2, right? Or part number A, beta. It says, suppose you can keep the two markets separate, then what would be the rental and usage fee in each market? What will be the rental and usage fee in each market if you will be able to keep the two markets separate? Very easy question, beta. So whenever, so two markets separate, mane I have to deal with them separately, so one at a time. And whenever we need to deal with these markets one at a time, so we know that, beta, what will we go ahead and do? We will keep the minimum per unit fee, right? Achha, you're not given marginal cost anywhere. Sorry, you're given. Otherwise, how will I solve? So marginal cost is given as 4 per unit, right? So try to understand that whenever you have to keep the two markets separate, मतलब आपको इसको individual customer की तरह ही deal करना है. We have already done this kind of two-part tariff questions in our class also. And what do we do in these kind of questions, beta? You keep a usage fee, which is the minimum. And the minimum usage fees that you can go ahead and you can keep, that will be when P will be equal to marginal cost. You will keep P equal to MC. And after keeping P equal to MC, what will be your next step? You will be having maximum consumer surplus. And then you will be going ahead and charging that consumer surplus as the entry fee, right? That consumer surplus as the entry fee. So यही ये question पूछ रहे हैं. Let us try to solve this part. So I am doing for market 1 first. In market 1, beta, I have Q1 is equal to 14 minus 2P1, right? तो अब हम क्या करेंगे बेटा? I am telling you that from here I will get P1 is equal to 14 minus Q1 by 2, and I need to charge the minimum price possible. So what is the minimum price at which monopolist can sell? Equate P to MC, right? So I will get 14 minus Q1 by 2 equal to MC. MC is 4 beta. So I will get 14 minus Q1 is equal to 8. So Q1 will be 14 minus 8. That means 6. So if I were to draw a diagram for this, अगर मेरे को इसका diagram बनाना हो, I will have 0 here, P1 here, Q1 here. And my demand function that I have been given, that is Q1 is equal to 14 minus 2 P1, right? It is 14 minus 2 P1. So, beta, if P1 is 0, Q1 will be 14. And if Q1 is 0, P1 will be 7. Right? What is your marginal cost, beta? Marginal cost is given to you as 4. This is your marginal cost. And at this, क्या निकला है हमारा quantity? What's the quantity we have found out? The quantity that we have found out is 6. So we have found out the quantity as 6. समझ रहे हो बात को बेटा? Now we need to go ahead and we need to find out the entry fee. So entry fee will be equal to the maximum consumer surplus. What is the consumer surplus? This area below the demand curve above the price. So what will be my consumer surplus, beta? Half into base into height, half into 6 into 7 minus 4, half into 6 into 3. That means 9. That means 9. So we can go ahead and say that our rental fee, that means our kind of entry fee, it will be 9, and our usage charges will be 4 per unit. Our usage charges would be 4 per unit. समझ रहे हो बात को? Is this making sense? Okay. Now let me go ahead and do it for market 2 beta. So market 2 is given to you as Q2 is equal to 10 minus 2P2. Again, you have to follow the same process. क्योंकि market 2 और market 1 को हम individually consider कर रहे हैं. We are considering them individually. So in market 2 also, beta, you will get your P2 is equal to 10 minus Q2 by 2. Right? Your equilibrium will be attained where P2 will be equal to MC. You have to keep the minimum price possible. So P2 will be equal to MC, and your marginal cost is 4. So 10 minus Q2 by 2 is equal to 4. So you will have 10 minus Q2 is equal to 8. So Q2 will be 10 minus 8, which is 2. Q2 will be 10 minus 8, which is 2. Again, I will go ahead and plot this beta. So what was my function? My function was Q2 is equal to 10 minus 2P2. So if I will keep price 0, Q2 will be 10. And if I will keep Q2 0, P2 will be 5. So here P2 ले लो यहाँ पे, Q2 ले लो यहाँ पे. This will be 5 and 10. Right? Now, we have found out that marginal cost is 4 and the quantity that we are selling, that is 2. So what will be our consumer surplus, beta? Consumer surplus will be this area. So it will be half into base into height. So this will be half into 2 into 1. So 1. This will be my consumer surplus. This will be my consumer surplus. Clear होती है बात? अच्छा. Now the question is going ahead and saying second part to the question, beta. It says if you had common two-part tariff system, okay, what would be rental and usage fee? तो नाउ व्हाट दिस क्वेश्चन इज गोइंग अहेड एंड आस्किंग यू, ये कह रहा है कि अगर अब हमारे पास एक कॉमन रेंटल सिस्टम हो, so if I now have a common system, I don't have different markets, I cannot price discriminate, I have to charge one price and I have to go ahead and I have to charge one usage fee. So in that case, where will I go ahead and where will I see the equilibrium? मुझे equilibrium क्या मिलेगा? What is the rental fee I will charge and what is the usage fee I will charge? So beta, in such cases, we know, again, I have done similar questions in class. You can refer to the past year questions I have already discussed. So you will realize that when there is this case, we know that we will always go ahead and charge according to the lower consumer surplus customer. चार्ज अकॉर्डिंग टू द लोअर कंज्यूमर सरप्लस कस्टमर. तो इधर अगर हम देखते हैं बेटा, इधर जो हमारा कंज्यूमर सरप्लस आ रहा है दैट इज कमिंग आउट एज 1 एंड हियर माय कंज्यूमर सरप्लस दैट इज कमिंग आउट एज 9. So clearly the second market has lower consumer surplus. So what I will do, I will plot the two markets together. This is 5, this is 10, this is P1, this is Q1, right? And the second market intercepts were 7, 14. This is 7, this is 14. I will just draw it like this. And this is 4. Like this, beta. Right? Like this. So now we go ahead and we understand that the usage, the usage fees that I can go ahead and I can have in this case is this. The rental fees is the lower consumer surplus. Because if I will charge rental fee as the higher one, then in that case, I will lose out this market. अगर मैं रेंटल फीस ही 9 रुपीज चार्ज करूंगी तो ये मार्केट तो मैक्सिमम 1 रुपी रेंटल फी पे करने को रेडी है. So I will lose out on this market. So I have to charge a rental fee according to the lower market. That is what I need to go ahead and I need to ensure, right? So now what I can go ahead and do, I have to find out what the usage fee should be. ठीक है? So I will say that let the usage fee be P star. Let the usage fee be P star. So can you tell me what is going to be the profit of the firm, beta? I am going to go ahead and charge P star from both the markets now. दोनों ही market से मुझे P star मिलेगा. So now what I am going to go ahead and do is I am going to assume, so just try to understand the case once. The maximum consumer surplus that I can collect is if I charge consumer surplus equal to 1. But I need to check कि क्या वो वैल्यू है जिससे मेरा प्रॉफिट मैक्सिमम हो रहा है, राइट? आई एम नो मोर गोइंग टू चार्ज प्राइस इक्वल टू 4. उसका कोई सेंस नहीं है यहाँ पे अब, बिकॉज डिफरेंट कंज्यूमर्स हैव डिफरेंट कंज्यूमर सरप्लस. तो व्हाट आई विल डू ना, I will keep a price equal to P star now. This is my price that I will be charging. Price equal to P star. And what I will be doing, I will be finding what this P star is such that my profits are maximized. एक ऐसा P star निकालना है जिससे मेरा प्रॉफिट मैक्सिमम हो जाए, पर उसके हिसाब से एंट्री फी जो रहेगी वो लोअर कंज्यूमर के कंज्यूमर सरप्लस जो उस प्राइस का रहा है उस पे रहेगी. Try to understand this thing. The maximum consumer surplus that can be charged as entry fee will be this. Higher consumer ka consumer surplus cannot be charged as entry fee because you will lose out on the other market, right? तो कंज्यूमर सरप्लस हो जाता है हाफ इनटू, बेटा इस पॉइंट पे आपकी क्वांटिटी क्या है, यू विल गेट क्वांटिटी फ्रॉम दिस डिमांड कर्व. समझो बात को, you will get quantity from this demand curve. ये base है ना, so this is the base, this is the height. तो height is coming out as 5 minus p star. Height is coming out as 5 minus p star. And what about base बेटा? Base माने ये वाला quantity, और ये क्वांटिटी को हम इस डिमांड फंक्शन से निकाल सकते हैं. सो व्हाट इज माय क्वांटिटी? माय क्वांटिटी दैट आई हैव फाउंड यूजिंग माय डिमांड फंक्शन इज दिस. तो इफ p इज इक्वल टू p स्टार, क्वांटिटी विल बी 10 minus 2p star. So instead of quantity, I can go ahead and I can write 10 minus 2p star. I can write 10 minus 2p star. ये बात समझ में आती है? तो this is the consumer surplus of this individual, of the lower individual, and I will be charging this as the entry fee. And I have to charge entry fee from both the customers. दोनों को ही तो I am selling the product. So the second customer who had higher consumer surplus, वो भी entry fee सिर्फ इतने ही देगा, because I cannot differentiate between the two. So I have to charge entry fee according to the consumer surplus of the lower customer. So there are two customers. So total entry fee collected will be this into 2. So 2 and 2 will get cancelled. So I will get 5 minus p star into 10 minus 2p star. So I can take 2 common from here. So it will be 2 5 minus p star whole square. So this is the entry fee I have collected. This is part of my profit. तो मेरा प्रॉफिट में सबसे पहले I am collecting entry fee from the two customers. So it will be 2 5 minus p star whole square. This is the entry fee collected. Clear? Plus, now beta I have to go ahead and I have to ask how much. तो अब per unit price paid by consumer 1 is p star. और इस p star पे what is the quantity he is demanding? That will come from his demand curve. और उसके demand curve का equation that is this. So he will be demanding 10 minus 2 p star unit. तो per unit वो तो entry fees थी, right? Now per unit I am going ahead and collecting p star at 10 minus 2 p star plus from individual 2 also per unit I am collecting p star, but his demand curve is different. So when price is p star, how much will individual 2 be demanding beta? When price is p star, individual 2 will be demanding 14 minus 2 p star, right? So he will be demanding 14 minus 2 p star units. Minus, there is some cost also. Cost is 4 per unit into the total quantity sold. So total quantity will be what? Quantity of individual 1 plus quantity of individual 2. I will just write their quantities. So quantity of individual 1 plus quantity of individual 2. This will be my profit function. Is this clear? This is very good question. Making some sense? Okay. So pi will become 2, 5 minus p star whole square plus p star. I am taking p star common. I will get 24 minus 4 p star minus 4, 24 minus 4 p star. Now I need to go ahead and find that price which maximizes the profit in the economy. So I will differentiate the profit function with respect to price, and I will get 2, power comes down, 5 minus p star into minus 1 plus 24 minus, so this will give me 24 when I differentiate. This is 4p square, so 2p star minus 4 into minus 4 equal to 0. Right? Just solve this beta. So you will get 4, 5 minus p star plus 24 minus 8 p star plus 8 equal to 0. Minus 20 plus 4 p star plus 24 minus 8 p star plus 8 equal to 0. This is 12 is equal to 4 P star. So P star will be 12 by 4. That means 3. I'm getting, just see if I have done some kind of have I done something incorrect here? Just go ahead and make a note of it. So just ensure that the differentiation is correct. Minus 4, 5 minus P star. This is correct. Plus 24. This is correct. Minus 4. P star square is 2 P star minus 4 into minus 4. Correct. Okay, this is correct. This is correct. Absolutely correct. Differentiation. So from here, I will get minus 20 plus 4 P star plus 24 minus 8 P star plus 8 equal to 0. So this will go ahead and this will give me 24 minus 20. That means 4 and plus 8. So 12. And this is plus 4 minus 8. So minus 4. It goes here. So 4. So this gives me the price as 3. Now, here is the issue here. That is why I was just rechecking it. I have got my equilibrium price as 3. But what was my marginal cost? My marginal cost was actually 4. My marginal cost was actually 4. I cannot charge a price below 4. I cannot charge a price below 4. I will be in a loss. Right? So ultimately what is happening is that my equilibrium price is coming out to be here. But if I charge a price below 3, below 4, I will be in a loss, which is not possible. So what will I go ahead and do? The maximum price that I can go ahead and I can charge, that can actually be equal to my marginal cost. Right? I cannot charge a price of 3. That is giving me, I cannot go below my marginal cost. That is incorrect to be done. So because in this example, it did not happen in other 2-tier questions that we have done, 2-part tariff. You can just have a look at those questions. But in this particular example, because I am getting the price below my marginal cost, I will go ahead and I will charge a price equal to marginal cost. And I will charge my entry fee equal to consumer surplus of lower consumer. Right? And that will be the answer to this question. But you have to go through this process because not always you will get this lower than marginal cost. Agar ye suppose 5 aaya hota, then my equilibrium price would have been 5. But here, because I am getting a negation, I am getting the final equilibrium price to be lower than marginal cost. That is not something which I would like to do. I cannot charge a price lower than marginal cost. That is why I was just rechecking whether my calculations, whether in a hurry I've gone ahead and done correct or not. So that is what is something that you have to go ahead and make sure, right? I would still like to go ahead and just see the calculation once because usually we will get a positive, we will get it more than marginal cost, the price to be more than marginal cost. That should not happen. So just recheck that part once and otherwise this is correct. So just quickly we will recheck it beta once. So this will be 2 comes down, this into this, and P star taken common. So 24 minus 4 P star minus 4, 24 minus 4 P star. So when I will differentiate it, 2 will come down into this into minus 1 plus okay. So if I just go ahead and I just try to open this up. This gives me minus 4, 5 minus P star plus 24 minus 8 P star plus 16 equal to 0. So minus 20 plus 4 P star plus 24 minus 8 P star plus 16 equal to 0. I think this is where I have done a mistake. So 420 is equal to 4 P star. P star will be 5. Good that we rechecked it. Good. I think I just wrote 8 here in a hurry. Sometimes it happens when I have a lot of things going on with what type of things I have to explain you in a question. It happens. Okay, so this is going to be 5 then, beta. So P star is coming out as 5. So now it is correct. Now the negation is solved. So equilibrium price will be coming out as 5. Now it is making sense. So ये जो हमारा equilibrium price हो जाएगा, it will be this. I will be charging a price exactly equal to 5. Exactly equal to 5. That means I will be charging 0 entry fees. क्योंकि अगर प्राइस ही 5 है तो my consumer surplus will be 0. So my entry fees will be 0. But my per unit price will be maximum possible price, which will be 5. Right? Is this clear? Okay, so this is how you can go ahead and solve a question on two-tier pricing. Okay, beta, come to the next question now. So, next question. This is a question from 2007. Let's see what the question is saying. So it says, suppose a firm C produces positive amount of good A and some pollution level which adversely affects production of another commodity F. Find private optimal level. Find social optimal level. Good question. Okay, so simple question, but a good one. So it says, suppose that there is a firm C which produces positive amount of good A and some pollution level which adversely affects the production of another commodity. Find the private optimal level of pollution and find the social optimal level of pollution. Okay, now try to see, beta. Private optimal level of pollution to 0 yoga. There is no firm that would like to consider the pollution it is causing on another firm. It's an externality. I am affecting the other firm negatively. But why would I consider it? There is no reason why I should be considering it. So I can say that number 1, the private optimal level of pollution, it should be 0 beta. Right? Because when I will be writing my production profit function, I will be writing total revenue minus total cost, but I will be writing this total cost as only total private cost. I will not be considering the external cost that I am causing. Right? So I am not going to, मेरे हिसाब से मेरा optimal level जो होगा production का होगा, but pollution I will not consider into B because I will not consider that as part of your, I will not consider pollution. I will not consider what my impact is on any other firm, right? So what I will do is I will simply try to maximize my profit function. और जो भी यहाँ से मेरा equilibrium quantity आएगा, I will just go ahead and produce that equilibrium quantity. So suppose I tell you that the external cost, as we have seen in our book these days, कि वो एक ऐसा function ले लेते हैं, that external cost is alpha q square. Suppose ऐसा कुछ ले लेते हैं. So या हम ऐसा बोल सकते हैं कि pollution, suppose we just assume that pollution is 3 times the external cost, where external cost is this. यही ऐसा ही कोई example the book takes. तो हमें पता है कि pollution will be 3 alpha q whole square. But the point is that when the firm would be going ahead and would be maximizing its profit, it will not consider this external cost at all, right? तो उसके according pollution will be maximum. हाँ, जो भी आपका profit maximizing quantity आएगा, you will just plug that profit maximizing quantity here and you will get the amount of pollution. Are you understanding this? But now the second part goes ahead. You have to just explain this theoretically because उन्होंने कोई numerical नहीं दिया है. The second part goes ahead and that asks find out the social optimal level. So what is the profit maximizing condition in case of social equilibrium? That is going to be total revenue minus total private cost minus total external cost. And you will be going ahead and maximizing this with respect to Q and equating it to 0. So since you are now considering the external cost, you will get a Q star post this being considered. And when you will be putting that Q star in your pollution function, you will get the socially optimal level of pollution. Right? Right? Is this making sense? Now the question is there any other way to find the socially optimal level of pollution? कोई और तरीका भी है क्या कि social optimal निकाल सकते हैं? Yes, you can check that through the process of collusion. Right? So if there are two firms, firm 1 and firm 2, so you will find out a collusive profit. Firm 1 and firm 2 के profit को add करके you will find a collusive profit. And that quantity which maximizes this collusive profit, that will be the equilibrium quantity. I have done many numericals on this. You can refer to those numericals beta. है ना? So you need to understand that when we talk about private equilibrium, उसको निकालने का एक तरीका ये हो सकता है that you maximize the individual profit. And when you have to find the social equilibrium, उसको निकालने का एक तरीका ये हो सकता है that you find the collusive profit. Because when you are doing the collusive profit, जब आप firm 2 के profit function को consider करोगे, you will realize that this is getting impacted by firm 1's production. So you have already considered that fact, right? So when you have already considered that, you will be getting the right equilibrium quantity. I hope this is making some sense to you. Okay. So I will go ahead and I will end this session here itself for today. I hope this session is useful to you and these questions will help you do better in your exam. Thank you, beta.